The goal of this podcast is to help you break in and thrive in advertising and marketing. Welcome back to our brand side segment where we're interviewing not the agency folks, but the folks that agency people report to. Today, we do this episode in the Content Cave, Break Entering's headquarters. It's nice and tight in here, but we welcomed Zuri Godfrey. Zuri is, let's see his title here. He is the brand marketing manager for social at YouTube. He sat with me here and we talked for about 30-40 minutes, a wonderful conversation, talking about how he leveraged LinkedIn and amassed a following on LinkedIn at Howard University, breaking into an internship in consulting at PwC, to how he stumbled into marketing at Google. Along the way, we'll talk about immersion programs and those and how they're beneficial. At the end, he references this amazing tool, this framework that he calls the 3 R's. So listen to the end to figure out his 3 R's for success to break in to marketing or really any position. He's a wonderful human. You're going to love this show. You're going to want to connect with him, and you're going to want to connect with him on LinkedIn. And if you like what you hear, please take the moment to give this show 5 stars on Spotify and on Apple. While you're on Apple, a written review goes a long, long way for search engine optimization purposes, which I can be honest with you all, so we show up more, we get better guests, and we can continue to help you all break in. Now on with the show. This is the Breaking and Entering Brand Side Podcast, and as usual, I'm your accomplice, Gino Schellenberger. Kick it, Mikey. Finding the right strategist or account talent shouldn't feel like an uphill battle. That's where no single individual comes in. No single individual specializes in delivering custom teams of strategists and account managers who integrate seamlessly into your workflow. With no single individual's team-based model, agencies gain the depth and collaboration they need while offering top talent an opportunity to work on meaningful projects. Whether you need pitch support, leave coverage, or additional resources, they're here to make great work happen. Ready to elevate your team? Visit nosingleindividual.com and discover why agencies of all sizes trust them time and time again. All right, cool. All right, so nice and easy stuff here, but Zuri Godfrey, welcome to the Breaking and Entering Brand Side Podcast. Where are we right now? You want just describe the visuals of where we're at.
The visuals, we are in what I would say is a pretty intimate space.
Yeah. That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, an intimate space, but nonetheless, we're here, and I'm excited for the conversation and thankful that you all had me.
Yeah, thanks for coming by. So, Zuri, we're here to talk about you. This is our brand side segment. So, I usually interview a bunch of agency professionals, people in advertising, working at these shops, but I've done so many and I get kind of bored and I need a change of pace. So, I'm really pumped to talk with you. And what you're doing today. So can you give us a rundown of what you're up to as a brand marketing manager at YouTube? Well, maybe we'll get into that a little bit more details, but stepping back, who is Zuri?
Yep, who I am. First and foremost, I have 3 brand words that I use to answer those questions. So first and foremost, I'm a believer. Second, I'm a marketer. And third, I'm a creator. First, as a believer, I'm a man of God, a Christian. And as a marketer, brand marketing specifically in big tech, but also have done things in sports and other areas and other industries. And then I'm a creator, and that's mainly a LinkedIn creator, where I've been able to partner with different brands to promote their products and services. But taking it back to the basis of being a creator, I am definitely one who would say I'm more of a creator versus a creative. So
creator versus a creative.
Yep.
Gotcha. What is the key difference between those two, you think?
Yeah, for me, when I think of creative, I think of someone that can be in the artist aspect of things. So that could be a multidisciplinary artist, that could be a painter, that could be a singer, songwriter. When I think creator, I think more strategic, for lack of better terms, and I guess more so from a business perspective. like I'm more on the business side versus the creative side,
Gotcha.
and actually doing the creative, if that makes any sense.
Sure, absolutely. Why'd you pick LinkedIn specifically to kind of grow your following, plant your flag there,
Yep.
and start with LinkedIn as opposed to maybe Instagram or what are the other channels now? You're not going to do it on
X,
Facebook,
yep.
maybe, but
Yeah, TikTok, X.
yeah.
For me, it really actually started my freshman year at Howard University in 2017, where I saw people on LinkedIn just starting to post what they were doing, and these were people that were influential from a career perspective, because these were corporate executives, people that worked at brands and also agencies that I would want to work for one day.
And
so,
what were you studying? What was like your career path? What was your vision as a college student at Howard University?
yeah, so it was mainly two things. It was a student athlete and on the football team.
Oh, what position?
Fullback. Yep. So fullback, running back, flanker, H-back, all the nuances of that position. And I also was in the School of Business studying business management. And we could dive more into it later, but just a quick overview of my career and where my head was at Howard was first in consulting. So I did an internship with PwC in Atlanta. And then from there, quickly made the shift to marketing, was able to intern with Google, do some other work and experiences with other companies. And yeah, the rest is kind of history.
Gotcha.
But yeah, back to the point of like for me, myself, and like who I am, I always knew that I wanted to like be a problem solver. And so that's why like consulting was piqued my interest, because problem solving and consulting is solving problems for businesses and clients. And then marketing, I look at it as solving problems for people and consumers.
Totally. So you had the consulting track, and then you started following people on LinkedIn.
Yep.
And you saw some of like the influencers on LinkedIn in the consulting and the marketing space. You saw that they had a bunch of followers, or they might have spoke to you
at the time. It's so funny because at the time, LinkedIn didn't even have followers. Back in 2017,
right, just connections.
And so,
and you like 500 was like the one everybody wanted to get to, because then it shows you 500 plus. Yeah.
So going back to your original question, I just started doing different conferences and different experiences in college as a freshman all the way throughout senior year, and I would just post them. Like if I went to a conference, or even athletic related. If I was, at the time, I was an All-American from an academic perspective, I would post that. And so it really was just me posting what I did and emulating what I saw on LinkedIn. And it definitely paid dividend long to move things forward, because when they actually made the shift and sort of switched to I don't think they have it now, but they had creator mode. And that's when you saw the followers. By that time, I already had like 10,000 followers.
Okay, yeah,
which was a great start. From when they made that switch.
Interesting. So you started early on, in like freshman year of college, going to conferences and then just documenting your experience there.
Yep.
How did you did somebody tell you needed to do this? Were you intimidated? Did you not care because it was LinkedIn? Like your friends weren't gonna like judge you or anything like that? Or no imposter syndrome early on of posting?
No, and it's the irony of it is I don't have the imposter syndrome when it comes to posting, and specifically on LinkedIn, because no one really sees me physically. Like it's not an in-person thing. I'm just posting online.
Yeah.
And versus the other platforms where people are more prone to comment and do all the things, like LinkedIn is not a platform where people are commenting different hate speech.
Right.
And
things you can't really you can't really hate on LinkedIn, because then you won't, your coworkers, potential job employers will be like, why are you trash talking another person?
And so it's a safe space.
Yeah.
I was just throwing things at the wall. So it's
that makes so much sense. I think that's just an unlock right there for our listeners who are trying to break into marketing or advertising, maybe consulting. Go ahead and post, because if somebody hates on it, they'll get in trouble. Simple as that.
Right, and the likelihood of that on LinkedIn is pretty slim. So
yeah,
and to your point about those who want to be in marketing and advertising, that's how I position it in my mind. And when I post, I'm brand marketing myself. I'm brand marketing my work. So if you want to be in marketing, you want to be in advertising, market yourself, advertise yourself.
I guess then when was the shift? Because it's one thing to document your experiences at these conferences and the takeaways of somebody else speaking.
Right.
That's how I've been able to do breaking entering so consistently, because it's never really my takes. It's your takes or the guest takes. When did you have the shift and the confidence to put your own content and your own thoughts to the world and your own original ideas? Because that's a big shift, right?
Yeah. No, it's a big shift. And what I would say to that, a few things come to mind. What mostly is top of mind is actually a great opportunity that LinkedIn gave. And it's the LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program that they had. And I think they had maybe like 3 or 2 in the US. And I was a part of the second one that had a focus on technology and innovation. And I really feel like that actually was the first time where I had the license to share my thoughts.
Yeah. What is this program?
Yeah. So this is public knowledge, so you can look it up, but it's a paid program where LinkedIn accepted 100 creators across different sectors and different walks of life to post constantly 3 times a week for 6 weeks straight. Damn. And yeah, you had to, when you submit it, you had to submit your concept and how you would use the 6 weeks and 3 pieces of content per week for those 6 weeks. And so for me, I submitted how to break into big tech. And so from a thought leadership perspective, to your point, I was able to really just share my perspective and my take on how I got to where I am and share it with my followers, share it with my connections, and even people who don't follow me that saw the content. Gotcha. And the main thing that I would say there is, for me, I always want to be and come from a place where I've done it before, and then I will speak about it, post about it.
Right.
You won't see me, I was going to say rarely, but you won't see me post about something that I don't have any skin in the game in, meaning I haven't done it or I haven't been around it enough to really have a well-informed opinion on it to post about it.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you have to have some experience. But in my case, it was like breaking into advertising, and I broke in, and now I'm able to give advice because I already broke into advertising at an agency. So you broke into tech, and then you started putting those takes out paired with the LinkedIn Accelerator program. That probably was a huge unlock for you to give you that confidence, and they're already approving the content. Exactly. They're putting you in a system that is conducive for you to post and gives you that confidence. I think though, like, can the listeners kind of put themselves in a mindset on their own without the LinkedIn Accelerator program? I'm sure it's hard to get into. It's probably pretty selective if they're still doing it. Like, how could they, could they create their own curriculum?
Great question. Yes. And to be honest, LinkedIn is set up to where they encourage that now. I'm blanking on the specific name, but it's something surrounding like community contribution, or it's topics where people who are on LinkedIn can chime in and add their perspective. And so I feel like that's a low barrier to entry for people to start. If they don't want to necessarily make posts themselves,
comment,
exactly.
Comment on those articles.
On the articles, that's what it is. Share your perspective on the article and what has been written in the article. That's a first step that you can take. And then the next step is, I would just encourage people. Obviously, Nike has the mantra, just do it. Like, really just do it. And the beauty of maybe not necessarily being a big creator on the platform right now is you have a small audience. And so what you're posting, it may not be seen at this point by a massive amount of people. So you can really see what is working, and it's a really good phase and stage where you can trial and error.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get back to your career journey then. So you had the internship at PwC, correct? And you realized maybe consulting wasn't the direct route for you. You're following these LinkedIn influencers. You're starting to post. You're getting following on LinkedIn as a student. You're crushing it on the football field. Yep. Can we talk about some stats real quick?
Some stats. So as a fullback, to be honest with you, my stats were very slim.
Okay.
Because I wasn't the featured tailback. I was the blocker, the passer, the pass
The
protector.
intangibles are more
Exactly.
important at the fullback.
Exactly.
I played that growing up.
Oh,
But my
fullback?
dad,
Oh, wow.
my dad was a football coach, the offensive coordinator. So the running back would get the ball on like the 5-yard line, and he would give it to me. So I had so many touchdowns, like every time.
Oh, must be nice. We didn't have that. We had really good running backs that it was rare that we got in a goal line stand because our backs were actually really good.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, all of our starting running backs transferred up to more either a higher FCS college or even FBS. So
Okay.
yeah, we actually had a really good team considering we come from a quote unquote smaller college and a HBCU in the FCS league. In my actual first game, we had, and I think still today we have the biggest point spread upset in college football history. We beat UNLV. We were like 43.5 point underdogs. And
Oh my gosh.
we went to UNLV and they paid us to lose.
Oh,
and
man.
fast forward, our offensive coordinator, my offensive coordinator at the time, is now the offensive coordinator at UNLV.
They're like
right now.
You gotta hire him.
Yeah.
Hire him.
So yeah.
Love that. So you're playing football, then how do you break into your first like full-time job post grad?
Yeah, so that pretty quick on that. Going from PwC to my next internship was marketing with Google, and doing that in the summer of 2020, the pandemic. I feel like it was a blessing in disguise, being home versus being in the office.
You graduated in 2020?
2021.
2021.
So I interned between my junior and senior year.
Okay.
Yep. And I was home. So I really feel like I was able to lock in and really put my all into it because this is during the pandemic. There wasn't much to do outside.
Right.
So versus if I was in the office, could have caught up in different distractions. All that to say, I crushed the internship and even got the full-time offer literally the week after.
I love it.
I finished.
So we got to back it up then. How'd you get that internship? Because that was a fundamental step.
For sure. Yeah, so intern with PwC in Atlanta, and then right after that, I had the pleasure and opportunity to visit California, I think for my first time with Google through the Bold Immersion program, and that's a program, highly competitive program for sophomores. So any sophomores in college listening.
Oh, wait, I remember that.
Yeah.
I think I applied to that. I didn't get it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. No, it's cool though.
It is okay. You're doing well now. That's all that matters now.
Yeah.
So
kind of. Look around. You tell me. We doing well?
I mean, they don't see everything.
Yeah.
All they need to see is the MVP, the end product, and the minimum value product. But
Yeah.
yes, back to your question. To what you said, it is very competitive. It was a joke, but I guess a true joke, that it was harder to get into than Harvard, because Harvard's acceptance rate at the time, or even still maybe now, is 3%, and they only selected 50 people out of over 2,000 applications. So if you do the math, that's harder to get into.
Jack, what's the math on that? No, finance guy doesn't.
5 plus 2 carries 1.
So you applied to the what's called the Bold Immersion program by Google, and what was that application like? Like, did you work really hard on it? Was it a last second, like, I'm just gonna toss this in, see what happens?
Yeah, rarely, and this is something that I guess pride myself on. It's rarely an application where it's like a last second for me. I want as much as I can, have as much lead time, get as much POV and input from other people. So it wasn't last minute. I remember it being essay questions, and actually from a connections perspective, which I definitely want to talk about the importance of networking and relationship building and connections. I got referred to the program, and so that was super helpful because, and when I say referred, it was literally the person emailing the head of the program, and that was super helpful because it wasn't even an actual job posting, so you couldn't officially get referred. So that helped. And
you had somebody on the inside that was vouching for you, an advocate.
Yep.
Ahead of your application, or like at the same time you submitted.
Yep.
Right. That's a classic strategy. Sometimes I feel like, I mean, there are positions where this is really crucial, and you don't really know like if they're actually doing it. on the back end.
Right.
So it's like they say, yeah, I'll take care of you. I'll see what I can do. But
Yeah.
their people are busy. So how did you make sure like this was a genuine connection? How did you get to the point where that person on the inside of Google was going to heavily vouch for you rather than just say, yeah, I'll see what I can do?
Yeah. I mean, from a storytelling aspect, I feel like it's a great story that I've told a lot, and so I'm happy to share it with the viewers and the listeners here. I, in the School of Business, was in the American Marketing Association, Howard chapter, and I moved from member to e-board, executive board, and being a part of the executive board, we were able to visit the Google DC office. And I remember, like I said, I was in between consulting and marketing. I'll never forget, I was late to the e-board visit because I had a case prep workshop with McKinsey and Company, and I did what I needed to do, and I let the Google representatives know that I was going to be late. But I bring that up to say I went to the workshop and therefore was late to the visit. And at the visit, I remember it's like it's yesterday. I'm literally walking in a room, in a conference room, and a woman is walking out of a conference room, of the same conference room. So I didn't get a chance to meet her. The representative from Google that was leading it, I connected with him and I asked, like, hey, who is that? He's like, oh, that's so-and-so. And you actually really should talk to them. They were a student athlete at Howard, and now they work at Google.
Now we're talking.
Exactly. And for me, I followed up with the person, and they invited me back, and we had a one-on-one, amazing conversation, amazing lunch. And yeah, shout out to her. She said that she was going to refer me to the program. And what I do remember is being in the Uber, and this hopefully can be a lesson for people, being in the Uber, headed to the office to meet her and looking like, hey, I'm a sophomore in college. What do they have at Google for me? And I came across the Bold Immersion program.
Yeah.
And so the lesson there is to be prepared. Like she actually offered to refer me. I brought it up without even asking her to refer me, and just to see if she knew anything about it. And she's like, yeah, I actually know the program lead. Happy to submit a referral. You know, we had a great conversation. I see your resume. She saw the similarities of us being both student athletes, both from Howard, both in the School of Business. And so the rest is history.
I love how you prepared for that with a specific question. A lot of times when I'm talking with aspiring advertising professionals, marketing professionals, the asks are very general. Like, how can I get an internship, or how do I get a full-time job? Well, I always advise, like, what role do you want and what year are you? So what are you specifically looking for, and what specific agencies? Like, do you want to do social, experiential, PR, full-on creative? And you went into that conversation stating, what opportunities do you have for me as a sophomore? And with Google being a large organization, she probably could easily pinpoint that to the Bold program, which I love that you did that. And then the connections, you followed up. So you didn't see her immediately. She was leaving the seminar, the guest lecture, and then you found a follow-up time to meet in person. Is that correct?
Yep.
I always say, like, go in person to their office. Like, say you're swinging by, and then plan the trip around it.
Right.
So you'll be around, like, when, like, I'll be around in the week of X in that
like
city.
This.
Yeah, and just plan up a meetup.
Like this podcast.
Exactly.
Just happened to be in New York at this time, so that we can make it happen. But I do want to just do its due diligence of the program, just explain a little bit more about it. The Bold Immersion program, as mentioned, is for sophomores, and it's virtual now, but for me, in my experience, they sent about 50 of us out to the Bay, got a chance to visit 3 different offices, and they helped us with seminars ranging from resume to interview prep. We actually did mock interviews, and the program is actually, if I do say so myself, it's a pipeline program into the internship.
Totally.
So going back to your question you had before, is how I got the full-time offer. I did the Bold Immersion program. That program
sophomore year, summer, going into junior year. Okay.
Exactly.
So now, you crushed it there.
Then I interviewed for the internship that was between junior to senior year. So I got that. And then the week after I finished the internship, I got the full-time offer. And so headed into my senior year, I actually had the full-time offer from Google.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And I got more experience too. I did 2 externships. I want to get more experience in tech. So did a social marketing externship with Meta or Facebook at the time, and then one with the NFL where I had the chance to work the draft in 2021, and then graduated, did my final internship with ESPN and sports marketing, which really brought together all of my interests and passions into one. And ultimately, Google was the best opportunity for me to take and start full time.
This is wild. I gotta just take a step back here. So, you got the Google job offer full time. Like by the time you're a senior, you have a full time job offer.
Mm-hmm.
You're going into your senior year, you have a full time job offer, and you're still doing externships. You're still like kind of shopping around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was
learning.
Yeah, learning. Yeah. And for me, I wanted to take advantage of the opportunity. It was COVID, so we were virtual. I was actually able to do the Meta and the NFL program simultaneously.
Did they know that you were doing both of them at the same time?
Who knows? We don't need to get into that. But yeah,
how do you balance all that?
Yeah, it was COVID, so they sent us home. So I was doing some of the stuff from home, some of the stuff on campus when we eventually got back, and yeah, it was a great opportunity. But the main thing that I really wanted to do was I had a list of brands that I wanted to work for. I knew I was going to be a brand guy. Early on, I saw the agency route, and it did look enticing for sure, but I just felt like I was a brand guy through and through. And so while in school, if presented the opportunity, I wanted to get as much experience at as many brands on the list of brands that I loved as possible. And so that's what I did.
See, I would argue then maybe you should have done some agency internships. Because if you worked like an agency internship, you'd be working on 5 brands in one summer, potentially, if it's a good program. Yeah. But I mean, you knew your end goal was going to be a brand marketer. Yep. So that was the North Star this whole time. Every opportunity you want to get immersed into brand marketing at multiple tech brands, NFL, Google, like that was your North Star, correct?
Yep. But I do want to call out, I didn't necessarily know that, brand marketer is exactly what I want to do. I was more vague in my evolution. I was like, just marketing. But as I grew, and the things that I started to love fell under brand marketing. So gotcha. I just wanted to clarify that, because a lot of times people think that people have it all figured out, but you kind of figure it out on the way. But and then there's the aha moment.
Yeah, you had that like aperture, right? You knew some sort of marketing. I mean, what are the other options? Like product marketing? Marketing. I don't really know what that is. But
growth marketing. You have strategy and operations. Those are like literally the 4 that I just named that are at Google, but other places like ESPN, they have sports marketing. So yeah, brand marketing is something that I feel like I'm able to do everything that I want within the confines of brand marketing.
So how would you define brand marketing to the listeners? Because we got a lot of agency side advertising folks. So how would you define brand marketing roles?
Yeah. So when you think about brand marketing, think about the marketing funnel. At the top, you have awareness. In the middle, you have consideration. At the bottom, you have adoption. Brand marketing, 99% of the time, plays into the top. So it's literally how are you going to shift the minds and hearts of people to have love and more affinity for a brand, versus product marketing is like an actual specific product. So I'll give an example that hopefully will make it make sense. Thinking about me being at YouTube. As a brand marketer focused on social, I promote the brand, the actual intangible, but the brand of YouTube, versus a product marketer may market premium, YouTube premium. I'm not getting into the weeds of marketing premium. I'm doing different experiences, activations, and campaigns to drive love for the brand of YouTube.
Gotcha. So that's what you're doing today.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And that's what I pretty much done most of the marketing opportunities that I've had.
Gotcha. So brand marketing, I mean, in when you all break into advertising or marketing, for the agency professionals, you most likely will be talking to a brand marketer at the big brand. So you'll be talking to Zuri potentially. if you're working at an agency. You might be writing the marketing brief, and then at a high level, the agency will take that in and they'll put that into a creative brief. And then the agency will work on the creative like deliverables for whatever campaign he originally asked for. And it's our job on the agency side then to clearly answer the brief, whatever those goals are, drive more awareness, get more people to subscribe to YouTube or whatever it might be, in a creative way that's still on the brief.
Yep.
Yep.
On the brief and on the brand for the company.
On brand, on strategy.
Yep.
Yep. So then that first job, you had those opportunities at NFL. What were the other ones that you kind of did externships at?
Meta.
Facebook
at the time. And it was actually either right before or right after they launched Instagram Shop. So it was a good opportunity to even, I guess, from a product marketing perspective, think through how they could grow that. And yeah, then my final internship was with ESPN, which by far my favorite experience for sure.
Oh, really? So when it came down to the wire, you're graduating now, and what you picked the Google opportunity, the full time. So you still stuck with that original full time offer. What was going on through your mind? Was that the easiest opportunity that you already had? Still the big brand? What was going on in Zuri's brain when you had to make a decision?
Yep, how I thought about it and what into my decision making for that particular decision was, and this is gonna sound very, say, I guess tactical and not as well. Actually, I feel like it's strategic. I thought about would it be easier to go from Google to ESPN or from ESPN to Google? Would it be easier to go from Google to the NFL or from the NFL to Google? And I felt like all of those answers led to starting at Google and then being able to go elsewhere if I wanted to. And then not to mention the benefits, the salary, the equity. Equity is actually, and I'm just really learning this now, equity is really, really important when you consider your full compensation compared to other industries and other offers that you may get.
This
really
is a world I have no clue about. This is nothing I know about.
Not on the agency side.
No, there's no. So unless you're like a small like startup agency, you might be able to get equity, but I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
So
it's a game changer.
So you can negotiate all of that. I'm assuming.
Well, actually, to be fair, for the APMM program, which I started, which is
the what?
APMM, so
APMM.
Associate Product Marketing Manager.
Okay.
That's a rotational program for entry-level marketers at Google, and other companies have it too. At Microsoft, it's called ACE, like ACE Product Marketing Rotational Program. For Google, it's actually non-negotiable, the salary and everything. So
they're like, you can't touch that. This is good stuff here.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's fair. So then you started rotating in this APMM, right? And that was, how long was that rotational program?
That was about 2 years. So
whoa,
yeah. No,
that's awesome.
Oh, okay.
You get to rotate for 2 years?
Yeah. Well, I did 2 rotations within the 2 years, so I feel like it was long. It was short enough and long enough at the same time to really understand it, what I was actually doing.
No, that's a good amount of time, I feel like. But there's so much at Google, so
yeah.
So you rotated through different disciplines, like the brand marketing roles, product marketing, different products within Google.
So my first rotation was brand management and naming, more so naming, but brand management in the context of my role was more so ensuring that specifically Google Ads, the logos and the visual identity and the brand guidelines were upheld by internal stakeholders, so that when we go to market with the external creative, we look like one brand. And then from a naming perspective, which was mostly what the team was doing, was naming different products, features, and events for Google Ads. So there's a product called My Ad Center that is in the context of the Google Ads product, and my team helped name that, just as an example. So that was the first.
What'd you call it?
My Ad Center.
My Ad Center.
Yep. It's a really, really great product from a privacy perspective. And I say that because you are able to, if you want to, completely turn off personalization of ads. And you also are able to put in specific keywords that you don't want to see ads about. So that could be alcohol. That could be different other hot
Sure.
topics that
Yeah.
you may not want to see ads about. You can go in and
So that's
specify
any
that.
consumer, any user of Google can go to My Ad Center
Yep, and that's
and customize that.
and that's for Google search and for YouTube.
Oh,
So yeah.
what
Yeah.
ads are you getting served?
What ads am I getting served? As of recently, I'm getting a lot of sports ads,
Yeah.
which is on brand for me for sure. And I actually love it because my thing is, and not to get in.
Me too. I know exactly what
Yeah,
you're gonna say. I
you're-
agree with you completely.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, you're gonna get ads anyway, and if you're not, there's a paywall. And then from a Google perspective, that's not on brand with our messaging and our ethos as being accessible. And so, if you're gonna get ads anyway, wouldn't you want it to be relevant to you?
Totally. Totally.
Right. I would rather have relevant ads
Love it.
than have ads and they not make any sense.
Yeah, like the claims of like listening and stuff. Like I don't care. I love the ads that are tailored to me. I want to see what's tailored to me. Like if I go and like look up a pair of shoes, a Nordstrom, I see them for like a week straight. Like I think that's awesome. I'd rather see that type of stuff, those retargeting, than random ads. So, so when you're done with the rotational programs, there was 2 within 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
How did they place you? What'd you get placed in?
Yeah, so actually it all worked out at the end of my duration in the program. There was a building off of kind of what we just actually talked about. There was a team that was focused on shifting perception, which is also top of funnel brand marketing.
Love it.
Shifting perception about personalized ads or just digital ads as we know
We're doing it right now on this show.
And so, yeah, I served in a creator advocacy role for about 1.5 years and really partner with YouTube creators to tell the story untold of how they rely on digital ads. And if you think about it, your favorite YouTube creator probably makes more money than all of us combined just from the ad revenue.
For sure.
Just
way
from
more,
the ad revenue.
Way more.
So
way more.
just telling that story in creative ways so
Yeah.
that we can shift perception about ads with people we love, and that's creators, influencers, all the things.
So you got placed in that team then?
Yep.
Gotcha. And what are you doing today?
What am I doing today? I am in a social strategy position, and I focus on Google Ads and Google Marketing Platform. And so I am the strategist behind how we show up on those platforms. So our Twitter, our LinkedIn, our Facebook, and our YouTube accounts for Google Ads and Google Marketing Platform. I'm the brains behind the content that people may see.
Okay, gotcha. And can you talk about the team structure, like how you're interacting, like what's the day-to-day like, maybe, with, whatever you can do.
For sure. Yeah, so I'm on the integrated social strategy team within YouTube Ads, and the team, I love the team. A lot of us are split between LA and New York, and we own different channels. So let's think with Google, myself, Google Ads, Google Marketing Platform, YouTube advertisers, Google Small Biz, just all of the channels within ads, like all the social channels from an ads perspective sits within our team. So it's a really great centralized team that I've started to love.
Gotcha. What are the key skills that you use every day?
The key skills that I would say I use most every day, one definitely would be time management. Social is always on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's how do you really prepare for a day when we have to get X amount of posts out, and then things will come up that we will need to react to in real time, because social is, as I said, always on. So you always have to react. You don't always have to react. You should only react when it's right. But within the practitioner community, it's very important to build rapport with them and engage with them and just have the overall community management. So yeah, I would say time management is definitely one. That's a skill. From a tool perspective, definitely your sprinklers of the world, your brand watches of the world that can help you grow. And well, first, in order to grow, understand what's working and what's not.
Yep.
And therefore how you can grow and do more of what's working.
Gotcha. And you're still posting on LinkedIn,
Yes.
and like you're doing other stuff as well, and as well as your full-time job. So I know you're doing a lot. So what are some of those things that you're still involved with outside of your day-to-day job?
Yeah. So mainly being a LinkedIn creator, which is perfect because my job affords me the opportunity to have a lot of work that I could put out there.
Oh yeah.
And in return, I feel like I've gained the following and the traction that has afforded me the opportunity to now partner with brands and have them pay me to promote content that aligns with my brand and achieves their goals.
Personally, right? Like your
Yeah.
personal brand,
Yep.
you're getting sponsors
Yep.
for what you're posting on LinkedIn.
Yep.
Is that correct? So what are some of those brands that,
Mm.
like, when you're talking with potential sponsors, like
Mm.
what are those things that you're looking for? What
Mm.
do they see in you
Yeah.
as well?
What I'm looking for when I'm partnering with a brand is alignment, and that's huge. I actually had the opportunity to ask who's probably going to be a Hall of Fame point guard, Chris Paul. I had a chance to ask him a question, and something that I always will remember is his answer. I forget exactly how I asked the question, but basically what he said is he would, or my question actually was kind of what you said. How do you think about brand partnerships, and what type of brands do you partner with? What don't you partner with, type of thing? And he said he'll never forget that McDonald's asked him to partner with him on whatever, and he turned it down because it didn't align, because he's vegan. Or
Simple.
if he was at the time, I'm not sure if he is now, but at the time he was vegan, and so it didn't align with him. And so for me, that alignment thing is the most important part. So I've had the opportunity to partner with Canva Enterprise.
Helps creators. Got it. That makes
Exactly.
sense.
And
Easy to use.
Yeah, I use it every day.
Use it every day.
I'm a Canva Pro member myself.
Me
So
too.
It made sense.
Shout out.
Right. Shout out to Canva, specifically Canva Enterprise, and also Skillshare, where you can go and take different courses and learn different skills to help you grow in your career or grow personally. And so, again, alignment. And so that's what I'm looking for.
Yep.
What they're looking for is an engagement, like a high engagement rate. And that's something that I'm thankful that I have, because some people can have a lot of followers and
They're not interacting.
right.
Yeah, that's something we pride ourselves on.
Yeah. And so a lot of times it's engagement over followers is what I see brands really looking for. And so, yeah.
Love that.
Thankfully, I have that.
Okay. That's awesome. So any sort of brand that's helping personal growth, their career journey, learning skills, you're going to want to partner with them.
For sure. Yep. And actually my first brand deal, the name of the company will remain nameless, but it was a big betting, like fantasy football.
Betting.
Yeah, betting.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you said like mattresses.
Oh, no, not betting.
Okay. I was about to say, like getting better sleep could better your life and like be more successful. I was like thinking about I would not.
Yeah.
But you did it?
I didn't do it.
Oh, okay.
That was my first time that a brand approached me.
How hard was it to say no, though?
It really wasn't. And
that's good.
The reason I say that is because I have the financial security of my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Hey, creating content is my 5 to 9. So if I have the currency and the foundation to where I don't have to say yes to every opportunity, then I don't have to. And I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. Wonderful. So what's next in your career, and then we can get into final advice for everybody listening.
What's next in my career is really growth as a brand marketer. I really want to have the opportunity to really drive and lead more actual campaigns, and the end product of them be different spots and different commercials and advertisements that you see on social, that you see on TV. And so just really wanting to double down on that is really what's next for me. And then that's corporate wise.
Mm-hmm.
Entrepreneur wise is my mentorship program called The Village, that has a focus on development, networking, and accountability. That's our DNA. And that's always on. We're in the process now of that becoming a nonprofit and really, really running that through the roof. And the goal and the premise of that is for college students and recent grads to achieve all of their life and career goals. So it's really a holistic group
Love.
mentorship program that's one of a kind.
Love it. We'll plug it and let our listeners know. So keep me updated on that. That sounds incredible.
For sure.
Wonderful. So, final advice. Like, if you were to look back, I'm sure everybody says I wouldn't change a thing, but I'm sure there's some like advice you would give your younger self. Maybe it's when you're a freshman, lead blocking, worrying about football practice. What would you tell your younger self that can resonate with our listeners?
Yeah, there's one thing that I always use to answer this question, and I feel like it's the most prominent for me is, and I actually touched on it earlier when I said I didn't know necessarily that I wanted to do brand marketing specifically. I just knew like I wanted to do marketing. And early on in my college career, I realized that I wanted to do marketing, but I still was just kind of like, I would apply here, apply there. I didn't really like really learn actually what it took to do marketing well in the different components of marketing, like brand, product, all the things that we've talked about. And so in hindsight, when I knew I wanted to do marketing, I should have really dug deep and actually learned what it took to do that.
Would
at
you
a high
go
level.
Would you go back and tell your younger self you want to do brand marketing, go all in?
Yeah, I would. I definitely.
Yeah,
I would for sure. And the reason I say that is because it was a gut feeling, and it was something that I knew that I wanted to do. Like I could have easily changed my major to marketing. I could have just done small things that in the end would have a big effect. Because if I'm being transparent, I didn't even really understand a marketing funnel until I got to Google full time.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's like
you learn a lot in your first time job. Yeah.
But that's the basics of marketing,
right?
You know what I mean? So I'm saying that to say, and just having a transparent moment and a vulnerable moment to say, don't be like me. Like once you know you want to do something, as much as you can with the resources you have, become a subject matter expert in it.
Totally. I always say the first step is to nerd up and start by knowing yourself, and then knowing what exactly that role and all about that role in the industry. So it's like there's multiple components in nerding up.
Yeah,
but that mindset,
like
it's
that.
Cool to be smart. It's cool to nerd up on your craft and what you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the first step. There's a couple others too, but
no, I love what you said about knowing yourself, and I really credit Howard University to giving me the space and place to become self-aware and understand what I want my identity to be in this world. To your point about knowing yourself.
Yeah, I had a friend that went to like an open classroom in college and like wrote on the whiteboard stuff about himself and like had his friends like write stuff too. You can go that far, or you can just write in your own journal, or take the time is the main lesson there to really dive deep there. But Zuri, you're doing amazing stuff. I think you turned out just fine, and you're crushing it. So I'm so appreciative you come by the content cave here, Break Entering's headquarters, which is luxurious. As you've been treated well here, I'm sure.
I have,
but it's been a pleasure, and I hope people continue to follow you. I'm assuming LinkedIn, would be your preferred method of
LinkedIn, but also Instagram too. And I'm like Deion Sanders says, I'm not hard to find. It's just my first and last name on pretty much every platform. So feel free to follow.
Google them.
Yeah, you could do that too. Pun intended.
Yep. Love it. Well, thank you so much. This has been fantastic.
Yes, thank you for having me. And the last part of advice that I would say and give to people from a corporate perspective is 3 R's that I feel like have been the recipe for success for me in my career, and that's resume, relationships, and referrals. And resume, just very quickly, when you're trying to get a job, looking at the job description, seeing what the requirements and skill sets are, and then taking that back and trying to get the experience, the education, the expertise that mirrors that and have it on your resume, because that's the first step. And then the second is the relationships, building genuine, authentic connections with people who are where you want to be. And ultimately, the third step, if those relationships go well, and you seek guidance, mentorship. The third is sponsorship or referrals, but also could be looked at as sponsorship when that time comes, that role at that company is open, then they refer you.
Yep.
So,
And that's not a 3-day process.
No.
No. That's it should be a 3-year long.
Exactly.
Right. Like if you're a freshman, you have to figure it out, and then you start that process. Ideally as soon as possible.
Yep. 100%.
That's why I say like start now.
Yeah. And nerd up.
Nerd up. I love the
that.
resume thing. Like find the job description as soon as you can. Like once you figure out what job you might want, find the job description of like a recent posting, and then like work backwards and like see what you need to get. For me, it was like be the president of the agency, get X internship. You kind of work that backwards. You did that, it seems like, as well.
Yes, exactly. So thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you
man,
all for having me.
This is great. I know we can talk for hours, but this has been great.
I appreciate it.
Cool, man.
Woo! Thank you, man. Great.